Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to Adair Live. We will be hosting these every week featuring different experts from the home building industry to help you better understand the ins and outs of building your dream home on your land. My name is Gabby Gately, and I am part of the marketing team here at Adair. My co-host for today is Jay Sowers. Welcome back, Jay. We are excited to have you again this week. How are you doing?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I'm really excited for today's topic.
Perfect. So today we're going to be talking about choosing the best plan for your family. So we'll be monitoring the chat. So just let us know where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building or thinking about building. Tell us what part of the home building process you're in, and whatever stage you're in, we want to hear from you. We'd also love to answer any questions you have about the home building process. So just put those questions in the chat at any time and we will get rolling. So starting off, when families are first kind of looking into building a dream home, I know a lot of people just want to kind of jump in and start looking at maybe all the plans and options builders offer. But however, I feel like maybe your first step should be looking at your finances, just kind of seeing what you can afford. So what should maybe I know about my finances before anything else, like what main costs go into building a home, so I can like fully form my budget.
Yeah, I would say, Gabby, that's one of the first questions that any customer should ask, and I'll kind of answer it in a few different ways. I think that every single customer comes to a builder with the same general question, and it's like, here's what I want to build, and here's my expectations for interior fit and finish. Is this builder, like, can you do what I want within my budget? Right? That's generally the question that needs to be answered. And I would say that depending upon the builder that you're interacting with, there are costs that need to get identified before getting these questions answered. So one way to look at it, Gabby, would be, let's say a customer has I don't know, a $600,000 budget. Okay. Well, what needs to go into that budget before we can start talking about countertops and floor coverings and full tile, master suites? We need to look at, is there a land payoff, right? What about developing the property, such as excavation and water and sewer and building permits and things of that nature? Every builder does things a little different, but I would say that you already touched on it. You just want to get 100% clarity that on your budget, on your comfortable budget, how much do I have to spend on the home itself? Make sense? That's kind of the very first thing to get to the bottom of. And then normally what builders would do, or what builders should do, is we should have a standard or included features list. So, Gabby, if you and your significant other are looking at building, right, and now we know exactly what your budget is for the home itself, the first thing we would want to do is I would want to disclose to you exactly what fit and finish and features and amenities you get included in the base price of the home, right? And now we can start the conversation and have a very educated conversation around what things that you would like to add to your home in relation to the budget that you have remaining. So does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah. And
Awesome.
then would you maybe suggest or say that should a family come in fully prepared with their budget, like by themselves, or would Adair, or do you think other builders would kind of offer help when budgeting and looking at that homeowner's finances?
Yeah, it's, I would say that, every customer that I've ever had the privilege of working with is different. Some of us are cash customers, right? But even a cash customer has a budget.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are cash customers, but we have to unwind assets to get the cash, right? Some of us are cash customers, but we have to take out loans. Maybe it's equity lines of credit, if you will, against other real estate that we might own. So, there are multiple different varieties of what I would consider a cash customer. The other side of the coin is for the rest of us who need financing. Well, everybody's different, right? Everyone has different debt to income ratios. Interest rates will fluctuate. Certain governmental agencies, Freddie and Fannie, they will, update or adjust their lending guidelines. And I would say, Gabby, that regardless if you're a financed customer or a cash customer, we just want to dive in and get really clear on the term I keep using is what your comfortable budget would be. I would say that for those builders and clients that are going to be utilizing financing for the build, then yes, the builder that you're choosing, I would assume, has a very good relationship with a lender or two that they partner with. I know specifically here at Adair Homes, we have Adair Financial Services, right? But even on the lending side, right, when you're looking at new home construction, we're not looking at mortgages, right? We're looking at what's called a construction loan. And a construction loan is a very different lending product than a mortgage. So even within the financing industry, we just want to get clear with you, the consumer, and the builder, what lenders do you partner with specific for construction financing, and then help me get pre-approved. And that's really the easiest thing to do by a long shot.
Awesome. And I know a lot of families, at least right now, are looking into maybe like the positives and just things to think about when either buying like a manufactured home or maybe going the building route. Could you maybe talk about some positives and maybe just areas to think about for homeowners, maybe choosing between those two options?
Absolutely. I can tell you with all sincerity, specific to manufactured housing or modular housing, things have come a long way, right? They used to be called mobile homes, right, back in the day, and they've progressed and moved, and now they're more of like a pre-manufactured home. But at the end of the day, I can tell you that manufactured homes do have a very niche purpose, and it's generally for two things. Number one, for a home to be placed in an area where a builder does not execute. Maybe it's remote areas where most local builders will not build. Okay, trying to get trades and suppliers out there. The other side of that coin comes down to budget. Okay, so historically, manufactured homes have had a very nice place in the industry for what some would deem very affordable housing, right? One issue to consider is that in the manufactured or mobile home industry, these are not homes that are permanently built on site, right? This is technically the industry deems it as temporary housing. Local jurisdictions, put them on usually what is known as about a 15-year depreciation schedule. And even though the land that they're sitting on may appreciate in value, which it obviously will, the home itself ultimately would depreciate. Because when was the last time any of us saw a gorgeous historic manufactured home, right? But all that to say, if a family is looking at a manufactured home, Gabby, we have to be sensitive that because that home is going to depreciate over time, right? Lenders will normally require a higher interest rate because there's more risk to the lender because the value is not increasing. The value is generally staying flat or going down, right? Until such time that the manufactured home has to be replaced. And depending upon how well it's taken care of, they could last for many, 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 many years, right? But at the end of the day, 20 years from now, I promise the manufactured home will be worth less than what it was today new. If a family would consider a company that specializes in on your lot and to really compare the two prices, like what's a manufactured home going to cost me? What is this, on your lot builder going to charge me? Just know that when a home is built on site to local building codes and funded through banks or whatnot, what ultimately happens, Gabby, is that those homes are of appreciating value, right? So a home that was built back in the early to mid 80s, as an example, based on what the home was purchased for or built for, it is worth way more today than it was back when it was built. And that is not true of manufactured housing. So just something to be aware of, and conscious of.
Yeah. And then if choosing to build a home is kind of the route some people want to take, I heard a lot of times that obviously when building a home, it's going to be their forever home. So what kind of factors should a family consider before deciding to, I guess, build their dream home, whether it be land, location, finances, kind of any of that?
It's that's a that's more of a difficult question because, again, remember, kind of going back to financing,
Mhm.
right? Everybody's different.
Yeah.
We've had the privilege of building what some would consider very simple homes, but on absolutely gorgeous property, big acreage, gorgeous views, and those families, the land and the property and that experience of living in the country, right, was much more important to them than um, pushing all of their available budget into the home,
Mhm.
right? Where just the opposite could be true. Some people are like, no, I do not want to own a John Deere riding lawnmower, and I do not want to have that much property to take care of. And so they build these very gorgeous homes, large square footage, gorgeous homes, on relatively smaller lots. So we're same budget, but we're transferring the funds into the home and away from the property, right? But honestly, Gabby, it's like we have customers all the way through the spectrum and everywhere in between. And when it comes to property, we the builder really should do a good job of helping the customer design that home. We want to capture views on the property. Which way should the driveway come in? Does the husband and wife want more of a courtyard style driveway? Is it okay that the garage is out front? How large does the garage have to be? Would we prefer the garage off to the side? So there's, and I would also say that of all the families that we've served, there's so much attention given to the kitchen and the master suites, right? Or those primary suites. That's where life happens, and I would say that, you just as a consumer of new home construction and having that flexibility, you really want to put together just a very simple list of like, one of the easiest things to do that I say is that, based on where you're living today and based on the current home that you're living in now, right? What about that home would you change, right, to better serve your family? And that's a pretty simple way to answer the
Mhm.
question. Like, oh well, I definitely need another bedroom because of children, or based on my aging parents, boy, it sure would be nice to have a second master suite or an accessory dwelling unit, right? Or based on kids going into high school and whatnot, I definitely need a third bay garage because now we have kids driving, or we love entertaining. Absolutely love it. And this kitchen that I have now is not getting it done. It's too small. Okay, perfect. Then we need a larger kitchen. So generally, Gabby, that's kind of the easiest way to, for all of us to really think about, if I'm going to build a new home, like what do I really need and want? other than just looking at a bunch of floor plans. So weighing your options based on where you live today and what would you change about the home you're in now is generally a easier way to help you at least get pointed in the right direction.
Yeah. And kind of going off what you were last saying, I guess, what can builders offer to help, I guess, make a home more equipped for uh, the family in the future? Meaning, like, if it's their upgrades or maybe spaces to make like an each family member more accessible for them, or just bonus areas and so forth.
Yeah, there's a lot. Please know that some builders out there may not be able to make changes. There are lots and lots and lots of builders across all of our communities. Some builders do a very good job at just building their floor plans. Like this is what we do, and this is how we roll. And then there's other builders that will allow flexibility and customization. But Gabby, the way that I would answer your question is there is a lot to think about when building. And I would say that it really comes down to having trust in the individual that you're working with at that builder. At Adair, we call them home ownership counselors. But at the end of the day, I could spiral off on this question of, my wife and I have a lot of dogs. Okay, so do I want carpet throughout my entire great room? Or is laminate flooring or luxury vinyl plank flooring more important to me? Right? Even decisions like that. We've helped families that know that here in the future we will have a family member in a wheelchair. Okay, well then that's fine. I love the floor plan, but hey, do me a favor. Can we just make sure that the hallways are a little wider than normal? And can you make sure that all of these main entry doors and access doors are a minimum of 3 feet instead of 2'6" or 2'8". So those are things to think about. And all of these conversations, if the customer or consumer are not aware, should be brought up by the representative of the home builder that you're working with. And then we can obviously talk about the big items like, a parent is going to be moving in with us. Okay, well then would you like a second master suite in the home? Or would you like a little more privacy between households? And let's do what's called an accessory dwelling unit, where mom or dad or both are still on site, but they're in a separate dwelling. And those can be attached to the home or detached, either way. But I would say, Gabby, that yes, hopefully the representative of the home builder that you're choosing to do business with, hopefully they're not just selling you a home. Hopefully they're asking a bunch of really good questions to make sure that this home is going to fit your needs. Quite frankly, every last one of them. So that'd be the way I would answer that question.
Yeah. And then maybe specifically for Adair, do we offer plans that are already kind of more accessible and easy to navigate?
We do. We do. Specifically to Adair Homes, we have a multitude of floor plans that offer, with a click of a button, they offer what's called a dual master suite option, right? We also have floor plans that are 2-story, but have master on the main floor for maybe family members that have accessibility issues. Again, here at Adair, you can pick, quite frankly, any of our floor plans. And then again, it's a little harder than this, but with a click of a button, we have what's called a 512 suite. It's 512 square feet. And it's a very nice little 1-bedroom studio that we can attach to that home somewhere, right? So think of it like this, Gabby, like you can drive into the garage and you can take a left and you can go into this gorgeous 2,500 square foot home.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can take a right and you can go into this 512 square foot studio that has a very nice living room.
I think we might have lost Jay for a second. I'll give it a minute or so to see if his network reconnects. But if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Okay, well, I think Jay lost connection, which is fine. I was basically at the end of all my questions. But if no one else has any questions, I will put this up on the screen. But if you are at all interested in learning more about our process or just the building process in general, you can schedule some time to talk with any of our teams at this link I have down at the bottom. So thank you all for being with us, and thank you, Jay, for answering all my questions today, and to all the viewers. But we will see you next week for another Adair Live. Thank you.